Welcome back to the Boys for Life podcast,
We are
episode
here.
21.
21.
Can you do something for me? We're back here.
I didn't know if you were going to say that on the mic. That's funny.
As you can see, we have one of my good buddies, Pat Suffield here, who is, we talked about him on the pod before, but we got him in person here.
In person.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Had to make the trek out here.
I appreciate
Mr.
that.
Undefeated.
Mr. Undefeated out here. We'll dive into that later. But thank you for joining us, Pat.
Thank
we
you for
appreciate
coming
you,
out.
brother.
Drove out from the city.
Yeah, drove
the
out
journey,
from Chicago.
the trek.
Dude,
Yeah.
so pumped. Probably going to a nice little 98. Almost hit the 100 on the way
That's
here.
perfect.
But
Ooh.
we're good. We're good.
That's honestly perfect.
I respect
98
it,
cruise
though.
control. That's good.
He's here. He made it.
He's
though.
moving.
You know,
Got to.
I appreciate that. Well, we want to, like I said, thank you very much for coming on, P. And for those of you that don't know, is me and Pat, we met in college at Wisconsin Whitewater. Shout out Warhawks.
Go Dub.
Big dub yesterday against Bethel. Took care of business.
Okay.
42-14. They're playing Wheaton College next week.
In Wheaton?
No, in
Oh,
Whitewater.
in Whitewater. I was
They're
going to
playing
say,
Wheaton.
ooh, we
Let's
might have to
go
slide
there.
over there.
Yeah, no, they're playing Wheaton. I can't wait for that game. But no, yeah. So Pat and I played football together at Whitewater. If you didn't know, he was an old lineman. Okay,
yeah.
he was an old lineman. When this
Oh,
video
yeah.
comes out, you'll be able to know what we're talking
No,
about.
I played tennis, man.
He play- we got to talk about that too. We'll dive into that. We got a lot to
Played
talk
tennis.
about on this pod. But no, so me and Pat, we played football together, and we just became boys. Like we had our whole friend group, the Bezos. Shout out the Bezos.
Shout out the boys.
And yeah, I mean, it was just an awesome journey. I mean, we were part of some championship runs. Pat was on 3 national championship teams. I was on 2, and it
That's
was just
crazy.
dude. It's just I'm thinking about it now. It's just wild to think about the times that we had playing football.
I mean, it's when you get that many good people in a locker room together, and like what I always joked about Whitewater, it was every midget stud kid that should have gone D1 went to Whitewater, and we
Yeah.
were all just pissed off, wanted to play football,
Right.
all had just such a high standard for ourselves. And what was actually cool about the Bezos too was we had how many different people in the group from a different position group. You know, we had an LB, quarterback, O lineman, DB, couple receivers in there, tight end.
Right.
I guess other than D-line, I guess we just don't like D-linemen.
Extra. We don't like the D lineman. Sorry, boys.
Everybody's included but the D lineman. Yeah,
Sorry,
fuck them.
boys. Excluded.
Yes.
Oh,
But
man.
no, dude, it was great, man. I mean, we just had so many good people around playing football, having a good time, man.
Yeah.
And it's fun when you're winning, isn't
Yeah,
it?
It is fun when you're winning. It
Yeah.
is fun when you're winning. And I mean, we got to give it out to that coaching staff too. I mean, obviously they did a well job. Now they're at Kansas.
Oh my gosh! Shout out Lance Leipold, man. Honestly,
Lance,
I mean,
the boy.
Lance is the boy,
Is
man.
that the head coach that you guys had?
So
He's at Kansas now?
at the Kansas.
Yep. Just
Wow.
beat Oklahoma.
Oh, my
I mean,
goodness.
Number 6 in the country.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing something right.
Yeah.
Dude, I was thinking about this the other day. He just like had the structure and the system in place. I was like, think about it. Like everything was to a T. We got reps of everything. It was all like broken down every single day, and it was just consistent, right? And he had a standard that we had to be held up to, and we had to meet that standard, and we had the success to show.
I think the things that set a standard from difference from him compared to other coaches was I think everyone knows X's and O's and works hard and puts their time in, but to be able to run the whole Fortune 500 and to make sure every single gear in that clock is turning the right way and having a lot of trust and confidence in your coordinators to do their job and make sure everyone right's there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like that was kind of, I think, a thing that separated Lance was just every little thing, even when you went on recruiting visits and stuff like that. Like it was just so much different than some of the other schools you looked at, and it was easy.
Yeah, totally.
So-
Totally. Yeah. I'm curious though. I want to dive into this a little bit. Is like, what was the reason why you went to Whitewater? And tell us a little bit about maybe high school background, kind of what positions you played, and kind of what that journey was like to get to Whitewater.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I started out, went to high school at Montini and Lombard too. Shout out the Broncos.
Broncos.
Big time. Gotta love the Broncos. Most people know like one person from Montini, like, oh my God, Montini. I'm like, that's, you know what? Trust me, so many great people. Love it there. Always having a great time. But, you know, definitely had a great group of people around there where we had actually some successful seasons too. You know, we won a couple state titles back in the day, played against a lot of great players. And then, you know, a couple of my close friends played in college. So, you know, we kind of had a kind of tight-knit group all wanting the same thing and all kind of going for it. So it made, you know, winning and wanting to be a part of that a big focus. And even like I coach now and I'll have kids, cousins, people there. I'm like, you guys keep turning stones over because kids today enough don't look at other schools or go see something. They're like, oh, or they want to go be the biggest and baddest and be the biggest fish out there and look cool. Well, you're going to be a tackling dumber for 3 years. You can go here and go do something else or go to a better academic school.
Yeah.
But, but I looked at so many different schools, and I was undersized back then. I mean, my weight gain was obviously a forever journey. But, I looked at so many schools that were 2,000 kids in the middle of nowhere, nothing but a cornfield and a Walmart. I'm like, I want to play football, but I'm not going to sacrifice college for this.
100%,
Like, shit.
yeah.
Respect,
I get I'm not playing in Indiana or Iowa, but shit. And, you go to Whitewater, it's got 10,000 students, big population, business school's phenomenal. They're letting you try on all these rings, and I'm just like, fuck. Like, O-line coach there I really vibed with. He was just this fiery little dude, and players are telling me that he's throwing hammers through literally tables at halftime. I'm like, all right, this is the guy I'm going with. And, it kind of stars aligned, and it worked out well. So, and it was a good journey. Got to meet Colty, got to meet a bunch of people, and it was fun. Great time in Wisconsin.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about on kind of that weight journey. So like, how big are you freshman year? Because I wasn't there, so I came a year after Pat was there, so I'm a year younger than him. So
were you a lineman at Montini?
What? Yeah, I was. So, and my weight journey, it starts. We have to go back a little bit. Let's
go back. Okay.
I actually, my first love was soccer. I played travel soccer over baseball. I hated baseball. I was a lefty. Coach's kid played first base. I was stuck in the outfield picking dandelions. I had energy up the ass back then. I'm like I do now, but I'm
run
just
around and do something.
I got to go do something. And all my neighbor friends all played soccer, so that was, and they were all ended up playing. A couple of them played in college. They were all really good. So like, I always was on like the tier below team. I was like, what the heck? Like, Then all of a sudden you put a helmet on me, and it was a different story. But 5th grade was like the first year playing. I was like 80 pounds. 6th grade 85. 7th grade 110. 8th grade 135, like 134.8, so I could still run the football.
Yeah.
That
That's
right. Back then, a linebacker. I was more defense too. I was more playing D end, but I got one touchdown to my career, and it was on a kickoff return. I wasn't supposed to be the back guy, and I took a 7th grader. I'm like, you go down there and block. Coach is yelling at me from the sidelines. Drop the ball, pick it up, and just run straight and just go for it and just house this thing. Only touchdown of the career.
That is
was
awesome.
That last game of Pee Wee 8th grade, and then go to my 8th grade years. Like we won, I think 5 games in 4 years. It was tough. Like we weren't winning. We knew we were going into games losing. But going back to the gain in weight, 135. Went to Montini freshman year at 155. Junior year or sophomore year 185, junior year 215, senior year 245, came to Whitewater at 267. Probably lost like 16 to 17 pounds during camp.
Oh yeah.
Like I was close to having to sit out of practice because of my weight differential. And that was, losing a lot of the baby fat, growing, maturing.
Right.
And then throughout those couple of years, my peak weight was 294. And so I ended up playing at 294. Then, you got to go this trek down. But when you were in college too, which was, it was constant. I mean, I was eating 10 to 12,000 calories a day, force feeding myself. Like it's such a consistent 24 hours, 7 days a week, everything you got to go into it, because like anytime you missed a meal, you lost weight. Anytime I drank beer, I lost 3 or 4 pounds. And everyone's like, you're not losing weight drinking beer, Pat. And I'm like, no, like, cause I'd go to bed with a bowl of pasta and a protein shake, wake up at 6 a.m., go eat 3 omelets and go, run around and go work out and do stuff, versus drinking a bunch of beer that's maybe have a slice of pizza late night, sleep in. That's a difference in 6,000 calories.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like I was never like, and it was such a constant battle for some kids on the team to gain weight. Like,
oh yeah,
it really was. And so it was like, my peak weight was 294. I probably played at like 287 to 283 in that kind of range. And then towards the later end of the season, you're like trying to keep weight on and stuff like that.
So hard.
And it was like, what was tougher for me, which I like looking back on, it was just, you had to constantly gain weight, but I wish I got to do a spring ball at 295, or like that weight, because I was gaining more weight in the summer when you didn't have school, you didn't have more distractions, you're running around, you're eating dorm food.
Right.
Like I'd be grilling stuff constantly, eating a bunch of cleaner food, like gaining a lot more weight in the summers, but I didn't get to play at that weight. And then when you're trying to play at that weight and you're trying to kick step back against a fast D end who's pinning the corner, that's a little more weight to have on you to be moving around.
Right. It's tough.
So, so I mean, but it was, but no, great times there. The gaining weight was, it was way easier to lose the weight than it was to gain it. Like people hate when I say that, but it was.
Really?
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Like,
Wow.
Because gaining weight was tough. Like, and to gain good weight and to keep doing it, like that much past your body weight. Like, people don't think that. They're like, no. But like, let's say, and every like, I have a manager in my company. He's from the Texas office. He played receiver at Texas. He goes, man, when they're done, the linemen look like tight ends and the running backs look like D tackles. Let me tell you. And I just started dying. I was like, no way did this guy say that. And who did I think of first? Nelly.
Oh,
Nelly's fat ass.
Coach Nelly.
Our running back coach in high school, bro. Oh my God, he would say the craziest shit. He'd be like, man, doesn't matter if you're hung like a porn star. If you come in 10 seconds, hold your block. Like, that's the analogy. I think you just wanted to rip that kid. Holy shit.
Coach Nelly,
That's
dude.
funny.
But it was, a lineman's going to lose the weight within like 2 weeks of playing. Like it's, you're not eating that amount of weight. You lose a quick 10 pounds, no problem. So like when I was done there and when I was done playing, I didn't know if I was going it. So I was still doing spring ball. I went to spring break, lost like 12, 15 pounds at spring break, was still doing spring ball, but I ended up graduating.
Yeah.
I had to gain an extra 10, 12 pounds just to let people think, because they're like, how'd you get so skinny? Like, I was self-conscious when you called me skinny back then. Like,
Yeah.
honest to God.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
So I had
Yeah.
to gain weight. So I probably stopped playing at like 275. To get from 275 to 260 took 2 weeks, not even. To get from 260 to 240 wasn't bad. To get to 240 to 220, that was a little bit, obviously you get diet, you're running, you're doing what you can. From 220 down to 200, that was when it was like consistent diet, working out, doing all the right things. Like, and I got under 200. So I got to like 196, 198. And I was like, all right, I got to gain weight. And like, I'm sitting probably at like 215 right now. So like, and that's kind of, that's more of my natural body weight.
Yeah,
So like
100%.
to get lower than that was a lot tougher, but to get back to here, it wasn't that long of a journey. So,
Okay.
yeah.
How long did it take you to think getting from that playing weight to down to like that 200?
So to get from there to get from 275 to 220 probably took, I'd say 2.5, 3 months. Like by that, like you coaching season, and I coached like some Pee Wee football in my parish. I was probably 220, but to get like that winter, I was, just eating lean chicken. And one of the things I always try to tell people is like even my dad who's gaining weight, I'm like, what do you mix with your chicken? The difference is you put 3 slices of cheese on a tortilla and roll it up and then put some hot sauce on it. I'll eat it with greens. Like that's the difference.
Yeah.
Like, and just
Small.
being consistent.
Small.
Yeah. But it is. All of a sudden, if you have that with some baby spinach and some other stuff, fills you up a little bit more. Different story. I'd say about 2.5 months, and then it probably took another like 2 months to get down into that lean body,
Yeah.
and then gained a little bit of the weight. And I always joke like, who was funnier seeing me after not seeing me for like 4 or 5 years? The skinny little 100-pound 7th grader, and all of a sudden people who haven't seen me since like 8th grade are seeing me in college, and they're like, holy shit, what happened to you? And I'm like, yeah, freshman 15, no big deal. And they're like, no, I didn't mean it like that. I'm like, no, it's good. Or like the people when you lose the weight, they're like, holy crap, like where's the rest of you? And it was so funny because like everyone would give you all these fake compliments, like, oh, like congratulations, like did lose the weight. Like your close friends are like, Pat, no one said you had to get skinny. Like we kind of liked you better when you were fat, man. Like fuck you, like fuck you. Like I was like, sorry, man. Like I don't know what to tell you. I lost the weight. A big deal. So.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
I remember. So we'll have to show Jeffrey this after, but when Pat was in college, he had his ID. That was when he was Fat Pat.
Oh, it's so great.
And he had like, the slicked hair. He had like really like long, greasy hair. It was awesome, dude. It was such.
Bex, you got to put a little picture up of me and like
We'll get
some of this, just like a little fat.
We
Pat
definitely
pic next
will.
To me, and I'm just like looking here.
That'd be friggin' money. But dude, so, and I want you to tell us stories. You told me this, I think, a couple times. Like, didn't you like, didn't like an officer ask to see your ID once or something? There was like a fat picture of you when you were like skinny or something like that. Like,
dude, so many times.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even buy beer. They'd be like, no, this is your brother. This is not you. And I'm like, no, this is me. Like, got to pull out other stuff, pull up your phone. But yeah, no, I had to go to the DMV. And I remember in my head, I was like, I'm going to have to wear an eye patch or something because I want to keep this picture. But they're not letting me keep it at all. And I love the picture. It's hilarious.
it's an awesome picture.
And,
Go.
but because again, I was way happier fat and broke than I am skinny with a job. That's a for sure fact. But but the I went to the DMV and I'm like, how am I going to get around like keeping this picture? And like the lady's like, do you want your picture changed? I'm like, to be honest, I love this picture. Can I keep it? She goes, that's fine. Stamps the thing. I'm like, let's go. Snuck my way around that. I thought I was going to do something crazy. Like,
I love this dude. Oh my god,
It is hilarious.
that is really funny.
Yeah, man, stupid shit like that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so that journey too. It's like gaining the weight was so hard, but like losing it was easier, right? I remember when like every
It's I mean, either one goes to consistency,
right?
You know, so it's just doing it every single day. But like when I was so heavy at that weight, it was just to keeping it consistent, keeping it running around. Like that was so much more to like to lose it and to maintain is different, but to really change one direction to the other.
Yeah,
you know, like because when you're at the top of the ski mountain, you know, you're that quick down was there, but then like you got a nice little catwalk before you can get down low.
Right. Yeah, great analogy. Awesome analogy.
It
I
is
like
a good
that.
analogy.
Yeah.
So I got a question. So is that like a common thing for a lot of the linemen that are playing football that like you're actually making that valiant effort to like gain that weight, or is it just happening like for a lot of other people? Is it more naturally?
I mean, it depends on the player. Like, I mean, there were players that we had that, you know, were like 6'6" tall that it was tougher for them to gain weight. There were some people that had to maintain their weight or lose their weight.
Yeah.
You know, so like everybody was a little bit different in that situation, and it's not even just lineman predicated.
Yeah.
There's you know, linebackers that were the same way. There's D linemen. There's everybody. So I mean, it's making sure what weight can you play at, where you're comfortable at, where coaches want you at. You know, but everyone's got that different fight of where they got to be consistently.
Yeah,
the, you
to
know,
all come through for the common good for the team. Yeah,
exactly.
100%.
Yeah, I will say this though, and it's unfortunate though, but I mean, to Pat's point, I mean, we have a lot of players and that teammates that you kind of scroll through Instagram or Facebook, and some guys that were really skinny, like DBs, receivers who like blew up, and then you see the opposite. It's like there's some linemen that lost some weight, and then there's some linemen that got a little bit bigger, unfortunately. So I think it's sad, and I think there is maybe some genetics, but I also think too there's maybe that some self-control piece too, I think is tough.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is tough. So, but just like what you said, Pat, it's like the consistency. Like, what are you going to do like to make that little habit from, throwing on cheese and hot sauce to the chicken or having spinach, right? It's just the little things like that that make the really big end result so much more better for you and more beneficial.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. I mean, and it's tougher with, you know, people having so many different things in their lives, you know, and moving faster. And like, I think that's my biggest thing of like, is eating out too much, you know, having too much fast food, having something quick there, not having the time to cook everything when you're running around doing 10 different things at once, is always kind of a tougher thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's how you wear your weight, you know, and then if you lose that gym aspect of it, and that muscle turns to fat, and now your muscle's not burning that fat, that's a different story.
Right.
You know, so like they might be lower on the scale, but like how they wore their weight is different because obviously muscle weighs more than fat.
Totally.
Like, I got friends that are, you know, 5'6", but they look great. They look like action figures, but they're like their BMI's like way obese. Like they hate it.
Yeah, no,
And I'm like, dude, when they like freak out about it, I'm like, dude, you're like one of the most, you're athletic as hell. Like, why do you care? He goes, no, but this test says I'm fat. Like, so like, no, this is bullshit.
This sheet of paper says I'm fat.
This says I'm obese. Like, fuck this. This is a fancy way of saying I'm fat. But like, you know, so it's how you wear your weight's different too. You know, so I mean, but it is staying consistent, and it is, you know, making sure to make the right decisions. And I'm a hypocrite when I say that because I'm probably going to drive out of here and have a cheeseburger. But I mean,
Hey, you're honest though. You can be honest with
But that's
yourself.
okay though.
Yeah.
Like
It's okay.
getting healthier and getting lean and in shape doesn't mean you can't have that cheeseburger or eat that pizza. It's about what else are you doing on a day-to-day basis.
Oh,
Yeah.
another great line from Mike Seefeld. I don't know if you were there for 1 year.
1 year with Seafeld, yeah.
I remember
1
I
year.
saw him after a tailgate, and I like, you know, you seen him, and he was probably 298. Like he was close to 300, couldn't hit the 300 number. That was my goal too. Couldn't get there. But he got down. He was like 220, and I go, Mike, like I'm gonna do what you did. Tell me what your secret was. And he's wasted after this game, and he's like, Pat, before you eat anything, Pat, eat a whole plate of green shit, and then after that, eat whatever the fuck you want. Because if you're not eating, you're not living, and if you're not living, well, fuck that shit. I'm just like,
What a line. Mike Seafeld.
What
Shout
a
out Mike
line.
Seafeld.
he was fucking. Oh, he was great. Yeah,
Eat a plate of green shit, and then after that, if you're still hungry, eat whatever you want.
eat whatever you want.
That's
Wow.
hilarious.
That is really funny.
but it's so true.
It is, man. It is. It's another thing I'd credit is there's a documentary on Netflix called Forks Over Knives, and it's about like a plant-based diet, but it goes into like a little bit about how America eats such a fast-paced lifestyle, how much dairy is in our diet. Like you ever see cheese in like a Chinese dish?
No.
You ever see from China actually, like a fat Japanese person? No, because they all eat a bunch of fish and rice.
Exactly.
You know, they eat a bunch of lean proteins, and everyone else here is like you go to Wisconsin. What's the average weight of someone in Wisconsin compared to somebody in Florida?
Big,
Yeah.
huge.
The cheesesteak, because cheese is on everything.
Cheese, beers, brats, everything.
Yeah, it's all cheese and red. Like when I was gaining weight, everything I eat was cheese, red meat, and carbs. Just constantly, just boom, boom, boom,
Boom,
like,
boom. Yeah.
Like I remember, and I would tell like coaches when I was coaching, it was all these dads, and they'd be like, "Oh, what's your secret?" And I was like, "All right, you really want to know? Like, if you really want to get your beach bod, or you want to lose 10, 15, no red meat and no cheese for a month. Eat anything you want, no red meat, no cheese for a month. Like no pizzas, no cheeseburgers. And like I can eat chicken, no problem. Blah blah blah." And like I'd be like drunk on like a neighbor's porch saying this stuff, and all of a sudden like I didn't know he actually took what I said to heart, and like 10 days later, he goes, he texts me, "Fuck you, Pat, I'm getting a pizza right now." Hey, man, I didn't think you'd last 10 days. So congratulations.
Yeah. Respect, buddy.
Yeah.
Respect.
So,
That's hilarious.
But I'd say like that's another little big little ticket for, you know, I think trying to be consistent with your diet is avoiding those pizzas and those just like a lot of red meat, cheese, and carbs.
Yeah.
You know, I always try to get my morning workout and then the smoothie. And then I feel like that's at least like you start your day off on that right note.
Totally.
Like getting that right note in when you're walking in the office, and I have like my blender ball set up, and like my staff probably hates it because I'm always making a mess and then cleaning it up. But like, so I'm always doing that in the morning, running around.
Yeah.
But like to be honest, I'm like when my schedule changes all the time, like I gotta be consistent getting in a gym, and I don't. And like I need Colty to call me out and call me soft. And I gotta keep working out. But
well, I'll be honest. I mean, shout out to you though, because he used to never eat breakfast, and he was like, "Bro, like I'm trying to gain muscle, trying to do this," and it's like, "Bro, are you eating breakfast?" He's
Breakfast
like, "No."
is huge.
I'm like, "Bro, you gotta have breakfast. Like you get proteins in. It helps with your metabolism." Yeah. And like even after too, what you have. So mad respect to you for making some of those changes. But that's like the number one. That's the most important meal of the day. Like I get if you're good. I mean, if you're gonna fast, like sure, I understand that. But I also know too that you were looking to gain weight. Like you need to have the protein. You need to have some of those more healthier fats and healthier carbs. But the biggest thing to do is just eggs. Eggs is my go-to in the morning. I love eggs. Yeah. I love eggs. I eat that every morning. I have 4 to 5 eggs, Christina. Beef
every single morning.
Every single morning, I usually have 4 to 5 eggs, grass-fed beef, and then I usually have some
2-3 push-ups.
Yeah.
And then Greek yogurt with honey and granola. That's usually like kind of like the go-to in the morning. Staple. You have to. Yeah. So, but yeah, dude, shout out to you for doing that. I'm proud of you for doing that, man. Getting that back in your diet and really prioritizing your lifestyle, man. Right. And that kind of leads me into like the next segue here is like, you know, played football, kind of went right into the workforce. You know, tell us a little bit about like the work that you do, you know, kind of what made you get in that work and, you know, kind of some of like those challenges from, you know, being all structured routine with football, having to be somewhere, and then all of a sudden, poof, that's gone, and you got to figure out the real world by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely so many transitions, you know, I mean, and like, when you lose football for like some of those football players, when, you know, since you've been a little kid running around, like football's been, you know, like not only something you love to do and a passion, but like it's your identity a little bit for people. Like, and when you were at Whitewater, you saw the kids that like got cut or didn't play. Like, some of them didn't know how to take it, and it's a lot to go on. And like,
it's hard.
I'd say like, you know, like when you're sitting there in a cubicle typing all day and you're looking at your Snapchat and you got friends working out or playing football or doing all this stuff, you're just like, dang, like, you know, you want that. Because you always want what you can't have. When you were playing football, you were just like, oh, geez, I want to go make money and party. Everyone else is drinking, you know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So there is something like you want what you can't have. But the way that you got to look at it is take all of those things you learn from football and learn from your sport, the dedication, the consistency, you know, doing all of those things and transferring it into something that you find a passion for. And it took me a while to find what I had a passion for. I was in insurance for 3-4 years, hopped from a couple different insurance companies, and it was, you know, I made some money, met a lot of great people, but like just didn't really have a passion for it. I'm sitting there typing, you know, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and I'm like, and then I went into more of a sales role now where I'm talking on the phones, I'm running around. See, like you can already tell I'm listening to this guy's really dominating this conversation right now. But
it's good though.
It's really good though. It's very
I
good
think
though.
after 20 episodes, they're tired of hearing our voices so much.
Yeah.
It's kind of good to get other people on here just talking.
I'm gonna change my accent halfway through this. I think it's 2 episodes.
Beautiful. I love that. You should.
We get a little 2 for 1. Run it.
But you know, so like, but now, you know, going into that role, it's something where, I do have a passion for it. I love doing it, getting to meet all these different people, how they've made their money, what they've done in their story. It's just like, and like most people that got into like commercial real estate. So I sell like apartment buildings and multi-tenant strip centers and stuff. And you're out there cold calling and meeting all these people. And I've sold buildings in Houma, Louisiana, Florida, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, like wherever.
Yeah.
And it's something that, it's cool because you get to go meet all these different people, see all these different markets, compare those kind of things. But it's not only just dealing with the real estate, understanding the numbers, the financials, but like understanding people and understanding their situation. And not everything's cookie cutter. Sometimes you got a partnership of 3 people that are dissolving. Well, what are each one of them going to do? And how are you going to stack, those things accordingly? But the also part of it is just, it's a job where you're consistently on the go, moving around from thing to thing to thing. And you're 1099. You're 100% commission based. So you got to go get what you can get. But sometimes you can't get away from it, which is tough. So like those are always, you need a balance of that, and that's always kind of some tougher things to kind of manage when you're running around with it. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. What do you feel has like been the biggest challenge for you, like in terms of being commercial real estate? So talk to us about, because people, I mean, like you said, you sell strip centers, apartment complexes. Like, what is like the ins and outs? Like, what's a typical day for you look like?
All right.
So I know it's a very broad question, but like give us some more context of what that looks like.
Let's see.
For you.
So right now, this week, don't go in a day, go in a week.
Sure.
So I have a multi-tenant retail center I'm selling in Bloomingdale. We are getting a price reduction on that, and I had a couple calls on investors looking to go into that property. I am selling a kinder care in. I shouldn't have said the city, but we're okay. We'll bleep that out.
We will bleep that out. We got you.
Kinder care in. Sure.
We got you.
Shout out to you. I can market my stuff. I'm selling all these buildings. I'm under contract on a apartment building in Kalamazoo right now, and it's very tough because it's a partnership. Property manager isn't the most updated with technology, and now I have a bunch of due diligence items I got to get to this buyer who's buying this thing from California, and now he's got to have an inspector come through. So next Tuesday I'm going to Springfield and Peoria with my junior. We're going to go run around and meet about 4 or 5 owners, and then Wednesday I'm driving to Kalamazoo for the inspection on that 24 apartment units. So we're going to go through 24 apartment units, and you got to go meet all these people, let someone walk around the room to make sure that the same renovations are done to this unit compared to this unit, make sure, and then get all the due diligence items to make sure all the money that they're saying that they're making is true.
Yeah.
So we got to get all the utility bills, go talk to the insurance company, go get a title company set up, go talk to the lawyers, make sure everything in the document's good, make sure A, B, and C are here. And I'm the one who's juggling all of these pieces as I'm going around and also doing new business.
Yeah.
So like that's the thing that's also tougher too, is you're training a junior, you're trying to develop new business. You have this listing here you got to try to sell. You have this thing you have to go finish up on. So it's balancing all of these different things, driving around, doing all of that. So it's just, there's a lot of different pieces to it. So yeah, I guess those are kind of some of the things I'm trying to run around with. Right now.
Yeah. It's a lot. It is a lot.
The life of a salesman is tough.
Yeah, it's different.
It is. You juggle a lot of things. It's like a circus act.
And yeah, but I mean, it's gratifying. It's something, it's maybe the competitive nature of me just from playing sports and run around like that. But now, so I mean, it's definitely a grind, and it's something we joked about even before the pod started. Of like, even my friends are sick of it. Like,
it's hard though. I mean, that work-life balance. Me and Jeffrey talked about that before, and it's important to want to work hard and make a lot of money and really set yourself up financially, but also got to enjoy life too, right? So how has that aspect been? Because like I know like when we've talked too, that's maybe hasn't always been easy for you. Like how do you work through some of the challenges and that adversity that comes with your work?
There's a couple different ways to look at it, but one is, having a couple things during the week that you can use as a balance. Because I feel like when a lot of kids get into ruts, or people I've talked to about, it's like, listen, if you wake up, go to work, go home, watch Netflix, and go to bed, and you get in a routine where you're doing that like every night, or like playing Fortnite, or like whatever it is. And Fortnite may be a little bit more social. But if you get in one of those kind of ruts, like I don't care if it's a dart league, trivia, bowling, flag football, basketball, like whatever your thing is, even like go to an art, drink a bottle of wine with your friends, whatever it is. But like having that thing in the work week to help you balance out is something I'm always a big believer in.
Yeah.
But then in being able to kind of step away, and it's so funny because you could bang your head against the wall trying to make cold calls and do all this stuff, and nobody wants to talk to you. Everyone's hanging up on you. And then all of a sudden, you end up on a golf course and everyone wants to talk to you all of a sudden. You know, so
Seriously though, yeah.
Like some of my friends don't even stop the golf cart anymore. I got to hop out. Hello, Pat Suffield. I swear to God, this happens.
I've been out there. I can confirm.
And I'm like, go, just get away from it. I just like, I get pissed. I get angry people. I get mad if I'm on the phone. Like, and another thing that's, I guess, going back to your original question of like the transition between football and career is, you know, when you're in that kind of mood and you're in this fast-paced lifestyle, a lot of things is instant gratification, you know, and like you want everything right now and it's got to be here now. And like, I can go get it. I'm going to go win this football game. It's going to take 1 hour and I'm going to win. Boom. I'm going to win or lose. And then I'm going to go play, you know, like this. I can win or lose, boom, boom, right now. But like sometimes it's a long game to get that quote unquote W, to get that win, to get that in that column. Like there's a client that I've been trying to talk to, for example, for 3.5 years. Big guy, owns a ton of stuff. Honestly, one of the nicer people you can meet, which is always great to see out of somebody in that kind of status. But all of a sudden I find this deal in this town, great building, good amount of units, newer construction, very well-known developer. And he's like, he's got a couple investors. He wants to say, hey, you know, if a couple of them are thinking about selling it, you know, if you can go find me a couple people, you know, I'll give you some rope. And I go, all right, give me 10 bullets. And I had to go meet him, sign like single agreements with each one. Give me 10 bullets. And he was one of the 10. I've talked to this guy 3.5 years. I'm finally trying to, like, you know, like, hey, you know, now I can finally try to do a deal with this guy. I'm like, all right, let's go. And he goes, all right, well, let's talk at Thursday at 2:30. That's my time. I'm free. I'm flying in back from here, doing this, bing, bing, bing. And you can't like tell him, hey, no, I'm busy. I can't. I got a day off. I can't do that. It was actually the day I was driving to a bachelor party with him and to go into Ozarks. So now I got to sit here on my phone in the podcast in a car with my friend, my buddy driving, all my college friends, trying to talk to this guy about selling this building and like work this whole pitch and tell everybody, hey, like, guys, shut up. And they're all just like, come on, Pat, like, is this gonna be the whole ride doing this? And I'm like, dude, like, I've said no to like 4 phone calls today. I have to talk to this guy. I'm sorry. I'm a jerk. I hate it. Like, I don't know. I'll buy all the gas and some chips at the fucking gas station, but I feel like a jerk right now, but I have to do this. So, yeah. So but getting away from like the instant gratification, it took 3.5 years before I was able to even have a real conversation. That deal didn't even go through. Yeah. And like, you know, there's people I've worked with now for 5 years and all of a sudden now I'm closing a deal with them. Yeah. You know, so it's like, that's something that like this industry has been like a big kind of wake up call is like, you know, the energy being consistent, you know, something that you're always fighting those battles every day, you know, every week, every quarter. But being able to kind of have that and then being able to buy into it and truly believe like, you know, like, hey, when I was a 5th grader, you were getting your butt kicked in football forever, but you just kept working at it and kept going and just, you know, you knew it was the light was going to be there, you know? So, but working for that goal is always a good thing, you know? Yeah. It's a long season.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's why we're always so adamant about fitness journeys and things like that we're so passionate about is because I think we were talking about it on a couple podcasts back, and Colton asked me, you know, what do I think is the biggest nugget for people to take away from it? And it's patience. Being able to work your butt off at something over and over and over and over and not see those results, but stay committed and stay focused on that journey to eventually see that gratification come at a later date.
And it takes time. It takes time. The first year I was in this business, I didn't make a single cent. 365 days, didn't get a paycheck. And I'm an Airbnb host. That's something we could talk about, I guess, the next time I come on the pod.
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot. We have a lot. Yeah, for sure.
But I was literally like, I made a little nest egg, went into this, you know, was making money off Airbnb, didn't make a cent my whole first year, and then, you know, had this one, then this thing fell into this, and it kept going. And then all of a sudden, and there's a lot of doubts during that time. You're just like, am I doing this right? Like, should I really be doing this?
Am I on the right path? Yeah. Like, am I fucking up? Like, am I throwing everything away?
Did I leave insurance to go into this? Because insurance is an industry that's like the mob. Once you're in it, you can't leave because you're already making good money. And now you got jumped up a couple places. It's like, am I going to go back somewhere and start square one again? You know, I got kids now. I got this and that. So like, people that are getting in the business, they're stuck in it. So and that's something I even regret during college of like, I never had a bunch of internships and stuff because I may have been a little more focused on football and I did like side jobs to make money. I never had those internships and get that experience, which was tough. But, you know, you got to figure out and go make a path. So, you know, I ended up jumping to there, and then you're making a couple sales, you're all excited, and then COVID hits. And you're like, fuck. You're like, what the hell? Like, and it was, you know, then you're like, shit. And then you go up, you have a couple more good years, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, now I'm solidified. I did this. I closed this big deal. Your name should be on the map. You're all excited. And then all of a sudden, you know, the interest rate market changes, and now things aren't as tough. But you could either be upset about that or you can double down and work harder. Like if you ever watch another great documentary, you ever seen the Bill Belichick, Nick Saban?
Yes.
Awesome.
That's an
phenomenal.
incredible one.
Oh my gosh.
So
yeah.
sick. But like I remember watching that and like I was like in a rut and I was like just, and one of the lines that was so simple and quick that Bill Belichick said, he's like, doesn't make sense to me that like people double down after a loss. Like they get mad after a loss. Like when you win, isn't that so great? Like do that more, what you did to win. Like, and people don't do it. And it's so true. Like I remember like I hit a big deal and I may have took my foot off the gas a little bit. And I was like, I'm coasting. I got a couple bucks, like all of a sudden they're like, no, like you just won. Double down. Double
down.
More.
Yeah.
Go
Grind
now.
harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that was one of those big things that just you kind of, focused in on. So, so yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy though. But I think to like what you said too is like, you're not guaranteed success. Go down this path. Like no matter what you do, you're not even guaranteed. But I think a lot of people are afraid of that. But like you should be more afraid of not even going down that journey because then you're guaranteed to fail because you didn't even try. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I respect that because I know that was tough. I mean, that's tough. And I think that I'm glad that you were able to find those little like nuggets throughout the week. Like, hey, go do volleyball or go do softball or basketball because I mean, a lot of people, I think struggle with that. I struggle with that sometimes too, where it's like I'm so hyper focused. I have like a lot of different things going on that we need to find like softball league that me and Jeffrey do over the summer, which I'm glad that I was able to do, or basketball, right? Like
Tuesday basketball. I literally joke. It's therapeutic basketball.
It is.
It is.
It is, man.
It's because it's like for that hour, you're not thinking about anything but just being with your boys and just hooping.
It's just I'm in this basketball. I play in K-Station building. K-Station basketball crew. What's up? None of you are gonna watch this.
Not yet.
And but like I don't even know like half these guys' names, but like it's this whole big group text that I got snagged in, and we just do 3-on-3 and just go run, and like you just keep playing games, and it's perfect. And then, but what sucks is the dude who works in the building tries to play, and he just sucks, and he'll just like run up and try to like get the ball, like no, go over there, like just get it. He doesn't. Oh, it's just so frustrating, and like we can't kick him out. So like we're trying to work on that.
Kick him out.
So like that's other than that, it's phenomenal. Great guys, like good hoopers. But yeah, that's the best. Need that.
No, 100%. You need it. Oh my God. You look forward to it every single week. It's like fuck yeah, it's Tuesday. I've had a long day. I'm about to go hoop with the boys.
Yeah. It's so true, and to be honest, that's how the boys started in Whitewater. That's how the Bezo started, was intramural basketball.
Yeah, literally intramural basketball. We got together, just a bunch of competitive dudes, no D linemen, but we, we all just got out there and just had some.
Our linebacker wasn't allowed to play because he wasn't good. So and I was obviously right. I was roll man. I made the team where I was the worst kind of team. Let's be real. That's what a good coach does.
Respect. Respect. But. No, dude, I think just like, okay, so I'm curious now, like kind of diving into that workspace too. Like I know sometimes like there's days where it's like, I know you're always driving, right? You're always driving, like you're kind of, you're on the grind and it's, it's tough, right? But how do you like when you're by yourself, when you're having like a really shitty time, like, or you're in like in a bad like mental state, or you're like, fuck, like what do I do next? Like, what's that next step for you? If that makes sense. Like how do you help yourself? How do you build yourself back up when you know things are getting really tough for you within work?
I mean, if I had to answer that question, I'd be a millionaire. No, I mean, like it's tough, and it's being able to kind of bounce back and stay positive is a tougher thing, and it's even something tougher even throughout the day. Like it's just like all of a sudden, like you get a bad call. Hey, I don't want to buy it. I just thought I had this guy. You're $50,000 apart on a $5 million deal, and they're like, just. Dude, come on. Like, we're so close. No, I'm done. Walk away. Like, I just spent all this time, wasted this. Like, so like to try to like just take deep breaths, take a step back. And it takes time. It takes emotional intelligence. And it's something I've constantly worked on throughout my things. I get all fired up and I'm passionate about stuff. And when it does, you get pissed. Like sometimes you just got to drop an F-bomb, get pissed, suck it up and go after the next thing. But being able to kind of take that step back, take a walk, but like when you're having a bad day and you're in a rut, like you do have, guilty pleasures and like, and I think one of the bigger things for me is like, I need to socialize. Like I like to be out with friends, go do something like that, maybe some competitive with me. I love playing poker, maybe not the most healthy way to deal with something, but like just getting a little bit of competitiveness in there. But like I'd say hanging out with friends, being able to bounce something off of, having those 2 or 3 people you can be like, yo, what's going on? Like, how's it going, this or that, talking to parents, talking to things like that. So, and it's always putting stuff in perspective. You know, something I feel that is, you know, humbling about my job, because, you know, you have, and, you know, I have friends that are in high school that are, you know, killing it successfully, doing all this great stuff, and you're just like, you know, and then you got friends who are, you know, not doing as well, and you're just like, all right, well, I'm looking up to that guy. I want to be him, you know. But like sometimes when you're climbing up that ladder and you're pissed off and you're frustrated, like, you know, looking back at like, you know, hey, you know, you're doing great with what you have. You got a great group of people around you. You got a great support system. Like, come on, like there's bigger things to worry about. Fucking quit being a baby about this little thing and figure it out. Like you're good. Like, and some of those like humbling experiences is like, I like going through 90 to 100 apartment units in one day and seeing families living in small, tight-knit apartment complexes and seeing how that is like a huge humbling experience. You know, it really is. And it makes you appreciate what you had and what you grow up to. And like, that's even why a lot of times I donate or do big brothers and big sisters or coach football is like, you can choose a lot of things in your life. You can't choose who your parents are. Yeah. And I've been very fortunate enough to have two great ones. And, you know, so like sometimes when you are in those ruts, like going back to your support group or your base, being able to go have fun, you know, with your friends, or, you know, go do something, go travel. You know, for me, sometimes trying to escape and get out of it for a couple days is important for me. And I've actually done that for the first time of like taking a trip by myself, or at least part of a trip. Yeah. You know, going out 2 days, just walking around, just sightseeing, just getting away from stuff. Yeah. So I'd say like those are kind of the big ones that I'd say I do. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I'm a big fan of taking solo trips, dude, or just getting out by yourself, dude. I've taken number of those in my lifetime. It's the best thing you could ever do. Do you only ski one day like this guy? you drive all the other ski one day.
I was ready to come out. I love it. I love it. So we were talking a little bit before the pod, and we were talking about Jeffrey going out to.
I've gotten roasted so many times for this.
To Breckenridge. So, Jeffrey, I'll let you kind of chime in here because, you know, kind of like you went out to Breckenridge one day there. Pat's like, who the hell goes to Breckenridge
I went
one
up
day?
To Keystone. So I drove out to Colorado for a week to meet up with one of my buddies from college, stayed with him. I went out snowboarding the next day. To be fair, I was working that week. We did a ton of stuff, though. We went to a Nuggets game. We went to a comedy club. Yeah. I did a ton of stuff with him. And then I was supposed to go out and snowboard the Friday, Saturday, and then drive home Sunday. And I ended up getting sick. On like Thursday night, I could feel it coming on, and I knew that I had to drive home. And I was like, I had a decision to make. I was like, do I either just like suck it up and go out there and try to do it while I'm sick and then try to go home, or do I just jump in the car right now and just drive home and beat it? Yeah. And I just jumped in the car and drove home, and it was fucking miserable. It was like 15 hours. I had a fever. I'm turning the AC up, and then I'm getting you know, too cold, and I'm turning the heat on, back and forth, pounding headache, can't eat anything. And I was like, yeah. And then all my friends were roasting me. You drove all the way out to Colorado to snowboard one time. One time. And I bought an Epic Pass and everything, too, for it.
Oh, no. That's right. Epic Pass. Oh, my gosh.
Thank God I kept myself quiet, because I was about to say, he's like, wait, he's staying in his buddy's place? He's not even getting a hotel room? Like, come on. Like, you got to get out there.
I know. It was honestly amazing, though.
It's a cool, like, and that's, like, these guys try to get me up to go to, like, Wisconsin and, like, go ski up there. I'm like, no, like, it's not fun. It's not
the same.
There, it's a different animal.
That's what he told me before I went out there, because we went up to Crystal Mountain, and then we go up to Alpine Valley and Wilmot and all that kind of stuff. But it's like after going out to Colorado,
it's not.
I don't even like want to go up to like Wilmot or anything like that.
Oh, you don't want to go down a little icy.
I know, for literally like 10 seconds.
Exactly.
And you're ice skating on the snowboard basically at a lot of these places.
At that point, right? I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Snowboarders, I feel like, have a lot more fun with it, because like they can do tricks, they can go off jumps. I'm one of those nerdy people, and I ski. So for me, it's like when you're weaving through trees and you're through there, it's just like when you're seeing all these views, like, and when these guys, I was so impressed when we went out to Breck, and like how well him and a couple of our buddies that were snowboarding were like staying up with like these couple skiers, because like I've been out a couple of times, like I'm experienced with it, and I grew up on it a little bit more. Like these guys are just getting out there and just winging it. And I'm like, you guys are fucking keeping up. I'm on skis, so it's like
dude, that was fun. That was what, 2021, 2020?
I think it was during COVID.
I think it was during COVID. We went out there. We like 15 of us, of the Bezos, and a couple of our buddy Jake's friends for a birthday bash. And that was probably my third year ever snowboarding. I snowboarded in 2018. It was my first year at Chestnut out in Galena. And I was like slowly, like I was kind of getting up to that point of like, okay, I can kind of go like front side a little bit. I can go back side. Front side's kind of tough. But out there, I'm like, well, I'm either going to be left behind by myself the whole time, or I got to fucking send it with the boys. And I figured it out, and I sent it, and I was with them for almost the whole trip, honestly.
It was like, for how long, and like, because the guy who is letting us go is like an adrenaline junkie. This guy's an awesome guy,
yeah.
fucking
Oh, my
great
God.
character, but
Yes.
he's just going, and he grew up on a mountain. Like,
Yeah.
he grew up on a mountain in that area.
So it's like riding a bike for him.
Sort of guy,
literally,
yeah.
like he's like, dude, out my front door, I can go off some like off terrain, and then I'm going like there. And like we were with them one morning, and he's just going, and I like. Your adrenaline's going. Like,
Yeah.
Normally when I'm skiing, I'm kind of easy going. You know, I'm a little safer. But when I'm following him, I'm like a little bit behind because if I slow down, like I'm crazy. So I'm following his footpath. But like my knee came out almost. Like I remember I was weaving through trees. I had to sideways piece this thing and come out of the
It's
thing,
tough,
jump up,
dude.
and I'm on a real.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
Like we're going through like literally like trees for an entire way down, like 2 miles, and this dude hits his shoulder, smokes. Oh
my God.
He bails. I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm freaking out. This dude gets up, boots good, skis good, helmet's good. Let's go. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's crazy. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's gonna go in a car accident next. And then him, those two, then him and one of our other buddies, like. Thank God he's still like. I mean, so they go climbing up and to go some back.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
And like he's like, I can do it. I'm glad he made it down the hill. But like then all of a sudden it was us, like me and like 3 guys. I'm like, all right, guys, like I guarantee your legs are dead. Like my legs are dead. Like let's just go find a couple blues. We're gonna cruise down for the second half of this day.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was gonna die. Like,
Oh my God.
I thought I was gonna end up in the hospital.
Dude, honestly though, that was such a fun trip. All the shenanigans and all that stuff, but just the scenery, man. Like that was my first
beautiful.
time.
It's
And I
cool.
know you've been out there a handful of times because you skied growing up and you travel all out west. And I was just like, oh my God, this is such a. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave.
You
man.
don't want to leave.
Dude, it was awesome.
And a little quick story, how I became a skier over a snowboarder. I think I was like a 2nd or 3rd grader, and Santa got me a snowboard for Christmas. And I was all pumped. I was like, oh, Santa got me a snowboard. Let's go. And I get out west, and I have a twin sister.
Yeah.
And me and my twin sister are very competitive, and she's on my mom's side. She's a better athlete than me. And she's cruising down here, like bending, and I'm on this snowboard that I really haven't done before. And I like can't keep up with her. I got to go do like the ski school, and she's just flying down the mountain, and I'm like, fuck this. By the end of the trip, I rented skis and whooped the shit out of my sister down there. I almost killed myself trying to win because I'm like, I'm not letting you beat me. So then ever since then, I just kind of stepped on the skis.
Yeah,
So,
no, 100%.
so
That's
yeah.
awesome.
That's
awesome. Yeah, dude. I just can't believe. I mean, that's just funny. That's just so funny how we got on this topic of the conversation. But
it was a good time. It was a good day.
It was a very good one day.
Yeah, very good one day.
It honestly was. We need to get
man.
back out there, and I've been telling Colton. I said we need to go out there even just for a quick weekend. Fly out there on a Friday, snowboard all day Sunday, come home, or all day Saturday, and come home Sunday. Like we just have to.
It's a vibe. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like where my next spot is, and I don't know yet.
I want to go to Jackson Hole. Have you ever been out there?
I've heard of Jackson Hole. My sister during COVID spent a month out there with like a bunch
Jesus.
of couples, and I was so jealous. Like, I do want to. Like Jackson Hole's on my list for sure, but it's expensive. It's hard to get to, and like that's what's so frustrating, tough about a lot of these places. It's like you gotta either fly out and then drive 2 hours, to
Right,
get
yeah.
out to there,
Right,
and then
yeah.
get out there. It's a big pain in the ass, but it's
But it's worth it.
yeah, it's true.
I want to go out to Holiday Valley near Buffalo.
Yes.
Holiday Valley. You know, that's I think it's pretty close to downtown Buff, isn't it? Like, how do you know? Have you been there? Or
I have.
You have been there.
Yeah,
Holiday Valley.
I got
Yeah.
family out there at Holiday Valley. Yeah.
Okay.
My aunt works there. I don't think it's near Buffalo, bro. It's not near the downtown. It's
not
kind
near
of out in the sticks.
Okay, probably like an hour
Yeah.
and 30 maybe. Okay, so it's like your point. Like, where can you go? I mean, like, because when we went to Breck, how far do we have to drive from Denver to Breck? I don't even.
It's like 2 hours, bro.
2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours.
It's a long drive.
That stinks, man. So
That's the nature of the beast.
it's nature of
It
the
is the
beast.
nature
It's
of
worth
the
beast.
it. You're with the boys. You're getting away. You're kind of getting away from work a little bit,
There's
right?
a lot of
It gets
traffic
in-
out there.
There's a lot of traffic.
Getting
dude.
out into the mountain.
Oh my
I
god.
literally
So-
had to leave at like 5 in the
I
morning.
know he's got 2 brothers. I know you have a brother from some of the podcasts.
I have an older brother and 2 younger sisters. Yep.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that competitive nature, like you said, my older brother, he's 6 years older than me, and everything was a competition. I don't
that's-
care if we're at the driving range, we're fucking taking batting practice, throwing
Yeah.
the football, who can throw farther, who can
Yeah.
throw harder,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And he
you
was always
go.
mad because I was always winning.
6 years younger though?
Yes,
That'd be-
you'd be
Wow.
surprised, man, especially at the driving range. He's like, how the fuck are you hitting that ball so far? I don't know, man.
Bro, I swear to
wow.
God, dude, I'm gonna tell you a story real quick. We went like 3 or 4 years ago. We went to
Was it
Wheaton.
what is it? Is it Arrowhead?
Arrowhead. Went to Arrowhead Golf Course to hit the driving range.
all right.
And I had never been golfing with Jeffrey, and like he's just, I mean, the guy doesn't really work out that much, but
I don't.
no, but he goes up and like he has a very unorthodox swing. Bro, he's hitting straight laser beam, straight as an arrow, 300
That's all
plus.
I can do.
I swear to God, bro.
I can't putt nothing.
Dude, he can-
If
yeah,
Happy
You're
Gilmore
on the
drives.
scramble team. You're on the scramble team.
He's
gotta
on the
roll.
scramble team
100%
for the boys. We
scramble
need Jeffrey
team.
in the scramble team next year, but dude, it was so fun, man. So this guy is just competitive, just a bunch of competitive dudes.
There you go.
Want to do a lot of fun
I
things.
love
you
to
know,
compete. Even still to this day, I fucking hate losing.
Oh, I mean, being competitive and just pulling pranks. Those are two funnest things.
100%.
oh my god,
100%.
oh my god.
Because he knows it. Because we played a lot of basketball together, like at Rutgers or like Friday mornings, and he just anytime that we lose, he just looks at me and he knows like when I'm quiet,
Yeah.
Yeah,
pissed.
it's tough. Mm-hmm.
It's tough now because I don't want to get hurt.
I
in
know, that's
basketball,
the
and I try
thing.
not to jump, but I'm just like, oh, I just should, and I got to see you next Tuesday. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like when you're playing high school ball, it's like I'm never gonna see this kid again. But you know, now it's like shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna see you next
gonna
Tuesday.
see this
We're getting
guy. I can't be a
older. Like
prick.
knees are hurting a little
Yeah, I
bit.
gotta
Yeah.
work tomorrow.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
gotta be
Like,
smart.
that's tough. But that's why poker's the most competitive thing you can do sitting down, and it's the only game in a casino you're not playing the house. So that's always fun too.
Yeah.
You're playing all the other people around the table, and you can see
Yeah.
you can see a melting pot of different people running around a poker table. It's
Yeah.
so funny. Like you got an old person over here, you got this guy over here,
You got the young buck with the shades on.
The last table I was sitting at. You ever see the movie Grandma's Boy?
No.
It's
I have seen Grandma's Boy,
It's
yeah.
this nerdy dude. He's the dude in Dodgeball who's like likes the
Oh, yes,
Scandinavian shit.
yeah.
He's like in all leather and like these lazy glasses. I saw that guy at the poker table.
No
I'm
way.
like, dude, did you just like try to make this your outfit? Like, are you really doing this? Like, it was. But like, yeah, you see all sorts of people. It's hilarious.
That is
Oh my
funny.
god, that is so funny. Well, I feel like too, like poker. I'm not a fucking poker player. I'll throw a couple bucks in the slot machines. I think you've invited me over to play poker a couple times, and I'm like, I'd love to go, but like I would lose all my money. Like I wouldn't bet much, but it's like I don't want to lose the money that I know I'm gonna lose. Like I'm already at a disadvantage. Why would I go into a situation where I know I'm
it's
gonna
true.
lose? You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that. Like that's just it's dumb in my opinion.
I tell everybody that comes and plays poker with us, I'm like, hey, listen, like, do not try to bluff. Everyone will call you just to see what you have, to see how you play. Like, you're going to start out hot, and you're going to have all this money, you're going to get all excited, and then it's going to go downhill. So,
Yeah.
like, just know that, and, like, play conservatively. And, like, I swear, like, 80% of the time, that's what happens. Like, everyone goes up, like, $100, $150, and they're like, holy shit. Like, oh, my God. And
They
then
start calling.
And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, I get cute with this. And then all of a sudden, just,
Yeah.
right back down. I'm just like, I told you, man. I told you. But, like, there is, like, the first time people that come and play, like, they usually walk away with money. Like, it's usually, like, I'm just like, hey, play conservative. Everyone's going to call you. Like, don't bluff. I'm telling you right now, like, someone will call you just to call you just because that's how some of my idiot friends are.
That's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh my god! Oh my god! So I kind of had a thought pop into my mind. I kind of want to go down this lane here, but so like, what are some of your like? Think about Whitewater. We'll go back to Whitewater a little bit here. Like, what are some of your like favorite moments, or like maybe like best pranks you did that are like we have to like kind of
Tell
talk
the
about?
listeners,
Ooh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Pranks, yeah.
Because I know like you're a big prankster, P, and I love it.
Oh, I like pulling
I
pranks.
love it. I love pulling pranks. So, like, is there any one that kind of like sticks into mind that you can like kind of discuss here?
I'm gonna tell this one while I'll wait and then I'll think of another. But the funnier one of just like me, I like just putting people in awkward social situations or like trying to make people feel uncomfortable and stupid shit. Just like
Very
little,
good at
little
that. I
subtle
love it.
stuff. Like if I'm like walking next to somebody and I see like another couple walking, I'll just like elbow you and you're gonna hit that person and be like, what the fuck? Like, dude, why'd you push me? Like, but when we went to the Cubs game,
Thank you. Yes.
when we went to the Cubs game, I'm with Colton, his dad, and me. We're all drinking beers. We're having a fun time. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there next to the person, and I'm just like, "Oh, how's it going?" Like blah blah blah. He's like, "Oh, you guys went to Whitewater?" Like, I don't know how like we started.
I don't know
talking
how.
about
Yeah, I forgot how it
conversation.
came out. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, and this is back, I'm like 285 Pat. So I'm like 280 Pat. And he's like, oh, like, I'm like, yeah, I played tennis there. And they're like, oh, you played tennis? Cool. I'm like, yeah, like Rafa Nadal's my idol. Like more of a doubles player just because